Hello, and welcome to Preparing to Survive and Thrive Homesteading channel with Charlie B. So, what are we up to today? Well, today I am going to answer that age-old question of what's for dinner. So, tonight I'm doing something a little different. I found this recipe for an Instapot, but I'm changing it to a skillet recipe. And it's for Tuscan Ragu pasta. Okay, it does not have ground beef. It has some pork tenderloin and some sausage. So, let me show you the ingredients and get cooking. Okay, heads up. Please excuse any messes that you see because I've been cooking and canning and doing a million other things. So our first ingredient we're going to use is some sweet Italian sausage, 8 ounces. And I did measure this. I used a scale. So I'm going to put that in the pan and I'm just going to cook it until it's good and brown, but not burnt. So we'll be back as soon as we get that done. And we're going to make sure we chop this up so it's in fine pieces. Now, while this is cooking down, I'm also going to take 2.5 pounds of, I had a pork loin roast in the freezer, so I thawed that out and I chopped it up into about pieces, 1/2 inch to 1 inch. And then I took a teaspoon of salt and a teaspoon of pepper and just put it on here and then mixed it all together. So it's seasoning while I'm cooking down the pork. And I have it in the microwave to hide it from my cats. So that's why I keep making that noise. But there you go. Got a little look into my life. So let me get this cooked up and we'll be right back. Well, I have the meat all chopped up. I'm going to put it back in the container I pulled it out of, and I'm going to put the pork roast into this pan along with 2 teaspoons of olive oil and get that cooking. I'm going to brown it and go from there. We'll be back. And I'm going to take, like I said, 2 teaspoons of olive oil, or I'm going to use avocado oil because that's what I have on hand. I kind of spilled it, so might be a little bit more. No biggie. So I'm going to get this browned and get it separated the rest of the way. And we'll be back. Put some seasoning back in there with the salt and pepper. Okay, so I've got my meat here cooked. Smells really good and I tasted a piece. It's really good. So I'm going to pull this out. Going to leave the juice as much as possible in the pan. I am going to turn it down some. Now you can cook this slowly or you can cook it a little fast. I probably cooked it a little fast because I'm hungry. I don't want to eat. And this recipe sounds amazing and I am so looking forward to eating it. I like to experiment with things, especially cooking, and I know I like all these ingredients. So I've never had a pasta dish that was kind of Italian or Tuscany that actually was made with pork, and I like to try different dishes because my daughter doesn't really care for pork chops, and I think this is going to be a definite winner. So, and the pork loin is usually dry when you go to when you roast it or anything. So, what we're going to do is we're going to take a cup of onions and a cup of carrots, finely chopped, and put in here. And we're just going to cook them to, they're a little soft, but not a whole lot. And we're also going to take 3 cloves of garlic that's finely chopped. I'm going to turn my heat back up so these will start cooking. I'm going to leave the lid off of this so I can actually watch it. And once the onions start to get translucent is when I will go ahead and move to my next step. It shouldn't take long with this much heat. Oh, the onions actually came from my garden. So I've been harvesting onions. You'll have to look for a video coming up, if it's not already posted, about harvesting onions and freeze drying the tops. So I'll be back. Next item we'll be adding is some wine. Now, you can add a nice red dry wine. I did not have a full cup of red wine, so I actually used cooking wine also. I mixed it together. I'm going to add this in. Oh, I cooked the carrots and the onions for about 3 minutes. So I'm going to add for 8 minutes. I cooked them for about 8 minutes. And the wine, I'm going to cook it for 3 minutes in with the carrots and the onions. Really sizzled out my sizzling pan here, adding that wine. Our next item, we'll be putting in some bay leaves and crushed tomatoes. We'll be back. Okay, so we're back. I've been cooking this down for 3 minutes. In the wine, I'm going to add my meat back in. That's my cubed pork loin. And my sausage, sweet Italian sausage. And I'm going to add in 28 ounces of crushed tomatoes. Good and clean out of there. Also going to add in a half a cup of whole milk. I like these little containers because I don't have to refrigerate them. And it works out really good. Just refrigerate 1 or 2 and not have to worry about it. We don't use a lot of milk in this house. It's mainly just for cooking. Woo, I wish you were here to smell this. This smells amazing. I'll get this all stirred in. And we're also going to add 3 bay leaves. And 1/4 teaspoon of salt. I'm using my pink Himalayan salt. I'm going to try to stir this in without breaking up the bay leaves, but I do want to submerge them so the flavor sinks in. I'm going to cook this for a little while, about 20 minutes, and I'm going to cook it on low with the lid on. Okay, so we will be back. So the sauce is done. I took the lid off of, I've just been letting it simmer a little bit more while the noodles finish cooking. The next item, we're going to remove the bay leaves. Put 3 in. I need to take 3 out. And our last ingredient is 1 half cup. That is a half cup packed basil, fresh basil. Now, if you cannot get your hands on fresh basil when you're making this and you use dried basil, use about half of that, which would be 1/4 cup, and do not pack it because it will be finer and chopped up a lot smaller, especially when you have it. So, but this was fresh basil. I did pull it out of the herb garden. So if you can go to the grocery store and end up getting some fresh basil, oh, that smells good. So I'm just going to let it simmer a little bit more. And I'm going to get ready to plate this baby up, and we'll be doing our taste test. Wish you could smell this. You need smell-o-vision because this would be worth it. That basil is amazing. Okay, so of course the picture was my hubby's plate. Now this is my plate. I did put some Parmesan cheese on it. So I'm going to cut up a little piece so you can actually see me eating it. And Rebecca is trying to show us that we have fresh cantaloupe from the garden. So give me a minute to get this cut up. Okay, so I cut up a piece. I've got some pork and some sausage, pork roast sausage, and some noodles, and of course the Parmesan cheese and the tomato sauce that the pork and the sausage was in. And I'm chasing it down. I can't seem to catch it. So here we go. That is really amazing. I will agree with my daughter. I think I like the sausage pieces a little bit better, but the pork is really tender like that. This is really good. So, well, there is my Tuscany Ragu pasta. All right, I'm going to sit down and enjoy this and eat my garden fresh cantaloupe. Remember, if you like my content, please like, share, and subscribe. Charlie B signing out. I'll be talking with you soon.